This special meeting to order, and just a reminder to silence your cell phones, and if you'd please join us, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Chris, take the roll, please.
Councilmember Strebe. Councilmember Berg.
Here.
Councilmember Rowe. Councilmember Stevens.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dalby.
Here. Okay, is there a motion to approve the tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, take the roll, please, Chris.
Councilmember Berg.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens.
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby.
Yes. Okay, next item is, this is the time, if anybody wants to address the council on any item on the agenda, and tonight there is one. So if there's anybody that wishes to address the council on that item, if you would please fill out a card and give it to our city clerk quickly. We'll go ahead and get you up here when that item comes up, which is next. Okay. Yes, or just come up, we'll call you up. Go ahead and move on down, Chris.
Resolution number 260, 2019, setting the license fees for dogs effective January 1, 2020. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 260, 2019.
Okay, and is there a motion?
Move the recommendation as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. City Attorney Jonah Keith, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. The city has entered into an agreement with Heartland Humane Society to act as the city's animal shelter. All qualifying dogs that are picked up by the city police are taken to Heartland Humane Society, and if not claimed by the dog's owner, then the dog will be adopted out by the shelter. To assist in the funding of the shelter's operations, staff is recommending that the dog license fees be increased by $5 effective January 1, 2020. That $5 will be paid entirely to Heartland Humane Society to be used specifically for the shelter's operating expenses. The fees will be paid quarterly as directed by the City Finance Department. It is anticipated that approximately 2,000 dogs will be licensed within the city annually, and this should generate approximately $10,000 to Heartland for its operating expenses. It is hopeful that residents will continue to license their dogs, knowing that the increased fee will benefit Heartland directly. It should be noted that the criminal charge for failure to license a dog is $75 plus court costs and surcharge for a total of $161.25. And if the individual, often they don't license their dog and they also don't get their dogs with a rabies shot, that's an additional fine of the same amount of money. So it's, and the important thing about residents licensing their dog is that if the dog does get loose and is picked up by our police department, that tag that's on their collar that shows that they are licensed will help us identify that dog's owner, and they can get and redeem that dog as soon as possible. And they don't have to worry about looking all over town for that dog. So it's really a good thing for our residents to get their dogs' licenses. And then again, every cent that is for this $5 increase will go directly to Heartland.
Sure.
All right. You have any questions?
Jody, I was just to make sure it's clarified for citizens. I know we talked about the city of Ottumwa's licensing fees versus the cost of fees in cities, our neighboring cities. Could you just explain or kind of give an overview of that?
Our fees are generally much lower than cities of a comparable size around the state of Iowa. So we're not trying to gouge our citizens at all. They're very comparable.
And it's been a considerable, now the mic's working, considerable amount of time since they've been raised at all.
Absolutely. It's been $5 going back decades.
Mr. Mayor, I might mention too that we did have a meeting with Heartland Humane Society and had a great discussion with them. They gave us some good input, and they were very supportive of this recommendation, and they had an active part in it. So I think for the general public's knowledge, this is something we did in concert with Heartland Humane.
And
Thank you.
actually, we have two Heartland, we have the chairman of their board and another board member present. If they'd like to say a few words, they're welcome to do so.
Sure, state your name, please, too, so we all know who you are.
I'm Shelley Harvey. I'm the president of Heartland Humane.
I'm Don Darland. I'm one of the board members.
As I stated yesterday, and I apologize for this getting pushed so far, but
problem.
last week, I shouldn't even taken the phone call. I had no idea what was going on yesterday. As Mr. Lazio said, we did have a great discussion. We are behind this 100%. They have great ideas. We're ready to go for it, and we will sell license out of our shelter now.
Good.
Excellent, excellent. I had no problem on that. Yeah,
We really
absolutely.
appreciate all your support. This is really a good thing for the community. And like Mr. Mayor, you were saying, it'd be good to get the county involved. I think that was an excellent idea you
Yes.
brought up, sir.
Good.
Certainly, yes, and thanks for coming. And yeah, we just wanted to make sure that we had everybody, the communication was good, because this is important not only for the city, but for the continuation of Heartland. They're a very important part of our community. Our animals are very near and dear to a lot of us up here, so it's a win-win.
Yep. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much. Joni, I have one other quick question, just for the public's knowledge. What are our, just if you could run down real quick, our license fees as they stand now and what they would go to with the additional $5? Because I know there's a difference in whether an animal's fixed versus a non-fixed animal.
Animals that are fixed, their fee was originally $5, and it is going from $5 to $10.
Okay.
And then animals that are not fixed, their fee is higher. It's $10, and it's going to $15, effective January 1st.
So still certainly a small charge for such a good cause.
Absolutely. And we're pursuing some other ideas. Holly's given us a couple of ideas that we're going to look at, and we may be back in front of you with some other things that we could do to help with the issue of dogs and cats not being spayed in our community.
Absolutely. And then hats off again to Councilmember Berg for the wonderful brainstorming and ideas like this. We need to do more ideas like this that benefit everyone in the community. And thank you to Joni for that work.
Absolutely.
Well, I'd say that Councilmember Rowe and I both met with Heartland and other animal rescue people throughout the community, talking about ideas moving forward. And I think we have some pretty good consensus and support for what we have for kind of this plan and the plans moving forward. We need to make sure Heartland can remain operational, because obviously it's a big service to our community that if we didn't have them doing it, the burden goes back onto the city. But at the same time, we know treating a symptom is different than treating the disease. So trying to work in the future on making sure we can try to control pet populations before we have so many animals that have to end up at Heartland. So I think there's a multifaceted approach, and this is just the first phase of that.
Absolutely. Good point. Okay. Are we ready to vote? Okay. Take the roll, please, Chris.
Councilmember Berg,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens,
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby.
Yes. Okay. Looks like that's most of the agenda then. We'll move on down to the public forum. And this is the time where citizens have the opportunity to speak about items that are not listed on the agenda. And if there are those folks in the audience tonight that want to do that, now is your time to come forward and do so. Okay. And seeing that there are none, we'll go ahead and move on to a time. Is there anything from Good and Welfare from the council and or acting administrator you want to discuss?
Nothing that won't be covered on the meeting next week, and so we'll be giving you a full agenda next week.
Okay. Anything else?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that for once. All right. Please take the roll, Chris.
Councilmember Berg,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens,
Yes.
Councilmember Dalby.
Yes. Thank you and good evening. 5:39.